Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to another episode of Under the Lights. Gonna be a good show tonight. We're gonna be in Leagues Cup mode. We have got a slate of games going on right now, and the quarterfinal picture is starting to come into focus. We're gonna find out exactly who in both leagues are advancing, in addition to the Seattle Sounders, who notably have already clinched that, and Inter Miami as well, and the Liga MX portion of the table is done with. So I was just trying to figure this out, which I should have done beforehand. I'm honestly not sure if it's determined exactly who they play yet. It probably is, but I don't want to say something that turns out to be incorrect. So if you do happen to know that information, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm not exactly sure how to determine that, but either way, we are going to find out the rest of the teams that are going to be advancing in both leagues. So we're going to look at the table, look at some of the other results, and kind of just talk about how Seattle sizes up. Magno getting this kickstarted in the chat saying it's Puebla. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure, but it makes sense because they finished fourth on the Liga MX side. And Seattle, as we all know, finished in first on the MLS side. So I thought that was how they were doing it, but I couldn't confirm it. So thank you, Magno. I'm going to have to do a deep dive on Puebla. I admittedly have not scouted them up at all. But we now know Seattle's opponent. So that's exciting. The quarterfinals aren't for a couple weeks. But we're going to be looking at also just how the MLS table panned out and some of the teams that didn't make it through that I might have expected would have made it through, and just sort of take a lay of the land. Before we really get into all that, I am going to spin the Schmetzer presser while we wait for people to trickle in. And then I had one other thing from this Tijuana game that I wanted to talk about from how that game ended on the post game live, and watching the game from the press box. I definitely noticed some things about how that game ended that I feel like I didn't really do justice to. Like watching it back, I had a couple of takeaways from how that game ended, and we're going to talk about that. And a couple of other big storylines from around Major League Soccer, one of which has already been mentioned in chat. But two major inbound transfers, obviously, this week. Son has signed with LAFC, league record fee, $26 million. And Thomas Müller is going to the Caps. Those are both transfers that were rumored and pretty much confirmed, but hadn't been announced yet. And now they've officially been announced in the last couple of days. So obviously a couple of kind of iconic global superstars coming to the league. Going to talk about what that all means. And then later on, we're gonna play it by ear. If we're vibing and I'm planning on staying on late, might pull up the Galaxy match a little bit later, which criminally kicks off at 8:30 Pacific time, and might do a little like watch long type action. Maybe not like a super formal watch long. We can hang out, talk about other stuff too, while kind of keeping track of how the Galaxy are doing at the same time, because that's kind of the last shoe to drop here. The Galaxy can advance with a win tonight. We're going to pull up the table in a sec and I'll look at what their tiebreaker situation is, but that'll be a fun little thing to get to. And Steve brings it up right here. Steve, I was going to talk about this. Not relevant, but do you understand what is going on with the Santi Moreno situation? Not really, like as far as why it's happening and what the outcome is going to be. But as far as what I understand is happening based on reports from Tom Bogues and others, he's going a little Reynoso on the Timbies. He said, "I'm out of here." I'm gonna play the clip from Soccer Wise, which Noah and I actually did a guest spot on Soccer Wise this morning. So if you have not checked that out, go give that a watch. It was basically just us paying our penance for our wager on the League 2 final between Ballard FC and Vermont Green. We had to, we're going to send them a couple of bottles of Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce, but then an additional part of the wager that was put in retroactively. I didn't really co-sign onto the retroactive adjustment to the wager, but we had to denounce the color green. But then we talked some Sounders in a Little Leagues Cup too. So there was like actual content that wasn't just us settling our wager. But yeah, we're going to talk about Santi Moreno a little later. I don't really have that much to say about it other than that it's pretty funny and not good for the Timbies. So we'll see how they handle that. But yeah, no, it's not like a full Reynoso, because like they know where Santi Moreno is. Like I don't know specifically, but like Reynoso, it was like they had no idea what part of Argentina he was in, what he was doing. Like Santi Moreno is disgruntled and demanding a transfer. And then when they said they weren't going to do it, he said, "All right, well, I'm going there anyway. I'm going down there anyway." So that's definitely like, there's novelty to that situation, but that affects them. Like he's a very good player. I'm not really sure what kind of year he's having this year. Maybe he's been disgruntled like this all year. Maybe he's having a down year. But I do know that he is like very talented and has had seasons in MLS where he's put up big numbers. So it's definitely like not a positive to have one of your best wingers leave the country and say that he's not coming back when you haven't transferred him. That's not good. They're going to have to do something about that. Hopefully Higher Seed does get the home field advantage. That would be nice to keep having the games here. All that stuff, I'm leaving for now until I see some sort of confirmation on what's going on, which I feel like isn't going to become crystallized until this last Galaxy game wraps up later. But all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the Schmetz presser right now while we wait for people to keep trickling in here. And yeah, those were the topics that I was planning on hitting, but honestly, we don't necessarily have to adhere to that rigidly. You know, if you guys have questions, topics, agendas, observations, grievances that you want me to address, go ahead, drop them in chat, and we can kind of just see where it takes us. But I'm going to pull up Schmetz here right now, and we'll see what he has to say first. I did watch this earlier today, but I think the Schmetz presser is a nice little ritual to start these off. I wasn't able to spin it at the game last night. Timing on those streams at the stadium doesn't quite line up always to be able to do that like it does for the road games. But I did make it out of the stadium, in case any of you were wondering. it looked like I was going to get locked in there for a second there. But anyway, this is Schmetz post game after Seattle's win over Club Tijuana last night, which gave them a perfect 3-0 start to Leagues Cup Phase 1, the only club in either league to do so. So he was probably feeling good. He was feeling good. Let's hear what he had to say while we wait for people to trickle in here.
Brian, congratulations on the win, on finishing top of the MLS group as well.
Courtesy of the Sounders FC official YouTube
played,
channel, by the way. Subscribe to their channel.
There at the end. But what did you guys do better in the second half, do you think?
Well, let me start off by saying we're the only team in both sides that have won all 3 games. Let me correct you on that. Let me compliment Senor Abreu because he's a very nice man. Got to talk to him a little bit. Very, very distinguished career, and his team played well. The first half started off okay. They caused us some problems sitting back. We had the double post in the beginning. Obviously Albert's penalty kick miss certainly changed the game, and it gave them life. And then they came right down and scored. And a lot of teams would have folded, but our team doesn't fold. Our team doesn't quit. Our team can overcome adversity, and they can persevere and survive, maybe is what I would say, because, we took some injuries. We were playing against a good team, a well-coached team, and it was a hard game. The subs they brought on were good players. So what did we change? What did we want to do differently in the second half? There were minor tweaks, Jeremiah. I wanted the left side to be a little bit more potent. We tried to unleash Reed a little bit more. We tried to push Obed over here to help Kalani and create some overloads on the right. We just tried to balance the team. And Kent did what he needed to do, played vertical. It's a great cross. And, Osaze, great header, brought us back into the game, brought some life. And then, Jesus' delivery, Christian's, outswinger. It's another shout out to my good friend Ravi Ravameni, who I know is going to be listening to my interview. First contact on outswingers, you need a guy to crash at the back post. And the Moose, Danny Masowski, saved us.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there because Nico told me that he said that. The Messiah. And I didn't really believe him. But there you have it. I can't believe that hasn't, how have I not thought of that? Saved by the Messiah. That's an all-time cook from Schmetz. Right there. Look at his face after he said it. You can tell he knows. You can tell he knows. He was like, yeah. I just cooked on that one. Hallowed be thy name. Exactly. Moose already had a nickname, but he's got a new one as well. Moments like that just prove he's a sounder at heart reader and here for the lols. Yeah, we all know he does read sounder at heart, and he listens to the pod as well. But the Messiah that's high level memeing. Like, it really is.
So there you have it. There's your answer.
Moss.
Yeah, Brian. Well, you went over the tactics, and you went over the goals. What I probably want to ask is both of the goals. Can you just talk about the determination of your striker, because they were both headers and they had to be physical and clinical in scoring the goals?
Well, Osaze was that the whole game. I mean, that kid took a step forward. That was a step forward to that kid. So he's been decent. He's been okay. He's had some good games, at Defiance, but there were some areas of improvement. And, I think what he showed tonight, what he showed me at least, was that he was able to, get to the next level. Because playing here and you're good, okay, fine, fair enough. But when you get to the next level, how do you adapt? How do you still make an impact? How do you still do the things that you're used to doing here? And so he accomplished that. And that was a great header. And he's a big, strong kid. And that's going to be his calling card. And that's what's going to keep him in this league. If he can, score goals like that. Determination, you want to talk about determination. I would not just the two strikers, not just Moose and Osaze, but the entire team. We came out in the second half and, we picked up the energy. The level was higher. And again, that's kudos to the mentality of that group, and they persevered.
Brian, you mentioned the injuries. Wondering if you have any update on Albert and Ryan, and then also what specifically happened with Obed in the first 10 minutes of the game? Do you know?
He just threw up. He had upset stomach. He threw up, so he got ball hit his stomach. That was that. Nothing, nothing bad. Look, Albert and Ryan, they have hamstring injuries. We're going to get MRIs. I'll give you more details on Friday when we get the results back, but it's 2 hamstring injuries.
Brian, congratulations on the win and on advancing as the 1 seed. I just wanted to ask about the physicality that you've seen over the past few days. 2 very physical games in a very short span. How has the team handled that physicality, especially in such a congested schedule right now?
Good. I mean, we didn't get any adverse altercations with the referees. I thought she did a good job tonight. I think the game was good. The game was physical, but that was because Tijuana needed a result. They put themselves in a position to get a result. And then our team came charging back and put them under pressure. And so the game became physical. And when you say physical, it's not always about the fouls, but it's about the running, it's the sprinting, it's the heading, it's the tackles, it's the duels, it's Alex Roldan with a big, shiner on the top of his head. It's all those things are physical too.
Brian, just a question about 2 specific players. One, Andrew Thomas seemed to come up big when you needed him most here today. And Reed, you rotate that side. He seemed to have a really good game. Just your thoughts on what both of those guys did for you today.
Yeah, Andrew's been good. He's been steady. I'm going to give him this tournament. Look, he couldn't. That first goal that Tijuana scored was a very excellent strike. I mean, I can't fault Andrew for that. It was a play leading up to that top of the box, on the long throw. But, Andrew has done well. And look, Reed is still a young player. He's got a lot of areas that he can improve on, but he's had some good starting points. He's a talented kid, but he's got a ways to go.
Brian, congratulations on the win. Just wondering if you could talk more about the all-female refereeing crew, since they were pointed for tonight on how they did and what it means for women in professional sports.
It's good. I have 0 problems with that crew. They did an excellent job. The 4th official was very professional. That wasn't an easy game for any referee, male or female. So I thought they did a fine job. Buenas noches.
Felicitaciones por la clasificación.
Thank you.
Se logró el puntaje perfecto, 9 puntos, pero los 2 partidos últimos se ganaron sufriendo. De acuerdo al plantel que envió a la cancha el día de hoy, quizás se cometió el error de dar el partido por ganado antes de jugarlo.
Good evening. Congratulations for the qualification. Sounders obtained a perfect 100%, 9 points. Yet the last two matches, there was a little bit of suffering. The lineup for the match today, could that be a reflect of having considered the match already won before it started?
No entiendo. We don't take anything for granted. We put the best lineup for each of the 3 games. We have to set a lineup for the Galaxy in order to win. So I'm not sure of the question. Maybe the translation was, I didn't get the nuance, but we did not for any 1 second think that we had already gone through in the qualification for this tournament. We understood that we needed to get a result. We had all the scenarios in front of us. The objective of the Seattle Sounders, though, was to win the game in regulation. That was our objective. And I hope that answers your question.
I don't understand. No, we never take anything. Perdón. Changing channel, yes, please. No le entiendo. En realidad, nosotros nunca tomamos nada como garantizado. Tuvimos que seleccionar el plantel, el mejor plantel disponible y posible para cada uno de los partidos y también la traducción. Tuvimos
Coach Brian, congratulations for the win. My question to you is, what do you think about this new format for Leagues Cup where 18 teams from each side participate, only 4 qualify to the next round? The possibilities of qualifying are minimum. What do you think about this new format?
Well, I love the competition between Liga MX and MLS. I don't have any strong opinion about 4 out of 18. I only understand that it's very hard. And so congratulations to that team in there, those players, for being first on both tables. But as far as the tournament, the rules, all of those things, fixture congestion in the middle of a busy season, those are things that I don't control. I just know that I love the competition between Liga MX and MLS. I think it's exciting. These 3 games were very exciting games, each one different, but they were very exciting games.
Hi, Brian. Qasim Ali from the Spectrum. So you guys had 26 shots on today. That's one of your highest totals of the season. What did you think about how you guys generated opportunities throughout the game?
I didn't check the expected goals. Sometimes shots can be deceiving. Had I, I wished a couple of those 26 shots would have been on target in the first half, would have made maybe our lives a little bit easier, including Albert's, penalty. So, we've been scoring quite a few goals as of late. I think that was one of our objectives coming into preseason this year, was to, increase the chance creation, goals and assists. I think we have a very talented attacking group, and, if Saze keeps developing, and Ryan and Georgie, Galasso and Pedro, and then, Albert and Jordan's going to come back. And, we've got a lot of guys that can score goals. So that's good for me.
One last question here.
So Kevin Castañeda made some pretty good play against you guys in the first half, was able to turn some of the players around, especially Christian. What did your team and especially Christian do to contain him more in the second half?
Well, again, I would probably go back to Senor Abreu's ability to get the most out of his team. It is a team sport. They certainly have very talented players. I think just overall, our team did a good job limiting them. They obviously created some chances in transition, and some of those transition moments came, yes, from a moment of individual good play by their players and getting around some of our defenders, but that's the game. And, again, credit to Tijuana. They're a very good team.
With that last question, we thank Coach Brian Schmetzer. Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything. Muy bien.
All right, so wrote down a couple things.
Hey, Reed,
Oh, why does this? This is some random video. Oh, wasn't sharing. Sorry, guys. Couple things that caught my ear from that Schmetz presser. A lot of Osaze praise. Obviously another goal for Osaze, but this was his most impressive one yet, for sure. I mean, he posterized that guy, and obviously the physical play that he made there was impressive, but I think for me it's like to do it in that moment too. I mean, you got a guy who still barely has played with the first team yet. He's got a couple goals, so he's got the confidence working, but that wasn't like a kind of like a poacher. I mean, it was sort of a poacher goal, but he had to win a 1v1 in the air against the Liga MX defender to get that shot on target. So, I mean, that's impressive. And I'm not saying the emergence of Osaze necessarily means they shouldn't still be looking at another U22 number 9 with no Ohio no longer in the picture. If they scout a new target up and it feels like the right guy, and they think, like Craig Weigel has said, that he can come in and contribute, then Osaze's development should not preclude them from doing that necessarily. But I mean, it changes how I'm starting to think about the depth chart at least a little bit. With every goal that he scores, he's got 3 now in the last few games. With every goal that he scores, I think it becomes more and more worth keep giving him a lot of run to see if you've actually found sort of a diamond in the rough here. So I think hearing Schmetz praise any young player like that is notable. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to get him to do. So yeah, I mean, great goal by Osaze, and you can tell he's impressing the coaches. The fact that they started him in this game at all, I think, shows you the type of faith that he's garnering from the coaches, because they're not going to start someone in a game of that magnitude that they don't trust, and also that hasn't been performing in training. A lot of who starts in these games gets determined on the training ground. So the fact that he's broken into the first team, broken into the rotation, and started a game like this shows that he's training well. And it's paying off on the field right now. He's scoring goals. So, I mean, that's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on, just because, I mean, what if the son of Dero turns out to be a viable MLS forward, a guy you can count on for production? In the same way as, like, right now you've counted on Moose, but also, I mean, you've got theoretical upside and a ceiling that you don't necessarily know about yet. So that was one thing. Obed threw up on the field. That was theorized about in the press box at the time, but unconfirmed. He did the that's the Willie Beeman. Anyone get that reference? He Willie Beemaned it any given Sunday. I guess after he had an upset stomach already, and then got hit in the stomach and threw up on the field, and they went out there and cleaned it up. So that something that happened. And then, of course, the injury updates on Albert Rusnak and Ryan Kent. It's hamstrings for both of them, which Obviously we're not going to know how like timelines and stuff until they get their MRIs. To me, I think of a hamstring as 2 to 4 weeks minimum, but I feel like they tend to be on the closer to 4-week end, which would put both of them out at least for the quarterfinals, because I think those are in 2 weeks. So we'll see. We don't know yet. Maybe it's just a minor little tweak or twinge, and one or both of them will be good to go in 2 weeks. But I think that's just the unfortunate thing coming out of this game. The vibes are great coming out of phase 1, but keeping the offense rolling at this level without Albert Rusnak, I think it can be done, but that's not really something they've had to do over this last stretch. He's been playing every game, and the attack's been humming. So, I think they're deep enough where they can put together an attack without Rusnak that can play and produce at a high level. My first choice would be putting Ferreira in that spot, letting him do his thing. He can do that, and he's been in good form. So I think that's probably what they're going to do. Maybe we see Danny Leyva get some more run there as well. He looked impressive in that Santos game for sure, and the Cruz Azul game. So it just it does suck. That put a damper on things. Obviously, Rusnak's been central to all these goals we've been seeing lately. But even Ryan Kent, I was telling you guys, I still had my stock. I still believed. I wasn't going to sell my stock just because he had a run of a few games where he wasn't looking that effective. And I think we saw it in these last 2 games. He gets 2 assists. He gets the secondary on the one in Atlanta, which that's whatever. But the primaries that he got in these last 2 Leagues Cup games, the first one, low cross to Osaze, just perfect delivery, and then he and Osaze link up again for the one last night, and that play, if you go back and watch the highlight, that was the Ryan Kent of St. Louis City SC and Houston Dynamo fame, the clubs that he torched in those first couple games, where he looked like one of the best players I've ever seen. The way he just mossed that defender to free up the space to get that cross into Osaze, and then how perfect the delivery was, both the accuracy but also just the trajectory, giving his striker a chance to make a play. That was the Ryan Kent that we saw. And to me, it's like I have no question as to his quality or talent level. It's just a matter of if he can consistently maximize it and tap into that level on this team, which, it looked like that was going to be easy his first couple games. But now he's injured. So, we just have to hope that for both those guys that it's not that severe and they can get back in short order. But the way I'm thinking of it is you're probably going to have to rock at least the quarterfinal game without both of them. That's just how those hamstring muscle injuries tend to go. And you don't want to put them in a position where they could re-aggravate it. God knows. We've seen enough hamstring injuries this year and the last few years to last a lifetime. So we'll see what happens with that. We just got to wait for the MRI. Ryan Kent's stock is up. Ryan Kent's stock is up. Gets constantly fouled, but he never retaliated. He was getting battered these last couple games. And MLS teams are doing that too. I wonder, it feels like they are Like, he gets targeted and bullied more than the average Seattle Sounders winger. Especially, I think it was the Santos game? One of these games, they were just fouling him every single time. Jake, I'm not sure about JP. It's a good question. July 22nd surgery. So, I mean, I would say probably 2-3 weeks. I would say probably being back for the quarters feels ambitious. All right. I had one other thing I wanted to talk about from this game, which was just sort of the sequence of events that ended that game. I was watching the highlights back today. I was like, wow. Like, watching it again on the broadcast, the way Tijuana managed the end of that game, and then their crash out after Moose's second goal, it was kind of a sight to behold. And I want to start with that free kick that Ferreira took in the 88th minute, where they ran that offside trap. And just to set the stage, like, at that point, the game is 1-1. And Tijuana, I don't think they, like, a 2-1 win, they probably would have been chalked, but I think they would have at least had a theoretical chance if other results broke their way, where any win might have been able to get them in position to advance. But either way, they still had a chance to win the game at that point, is the point. And you have a set piece from Seattle from a dangerous area as they're chasing a game winner, and they run this offside trap, like the most exaggerated offside trap I've ever seen. We've all seen offside traps a lot, but just how every single player tried to like time it up at the same time, and then like the distance they went was pronounced. And I remember thinking at the time, why would they run that? Because what happened was Paul Rothrock managed to stay on side. And I'm gonna pull up a still for you guys here, just to illustrate this, because this was a really tight call. So look at this. This is when Ferreira hits the ball, and you can see they're all pushed up, and they have Yamar and Moose offside. But look at Paul Rothrock. This guy, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. I don't know if that helped. But this guy right here, he has him offside, I think, based on the timing of the run, but he's got his arm extended back, and it's keeping Paul Rothrock onside. So that's the first thing where I'm like, if you're going to run that, like, the risk reward on that at this point in the game, when the game's still in the balance, just the gumption and audacity to do that. Like, if you're going to do that, it better work. Do arms not count? That's what I was wondering about. I thought maybe that was it. But you're right. The feet are still keeping him on. So first of all, I mean, that's a hell of a spot from the AR to not raise the flag. I honestly can't believe that they that she didn't, because it certainly looked like, when I saw it live, I thought they had pulled it off. But if you look at this still right here, the feet are keeping him on. He's on. So that's thing number one, where I'm like, wow, you guys really, you're pulling out all the stops. Like, and this is, I have another still here. This is what I'm talking about with risk reward on this. This is the reason that's such a risky play. This one I'm about to show you here. Because this was the result. Like, just think about this. You are tied 1-1 in the 87th minute. And you willfully, albeit inadvertently, put yourself in a situation where the opposing attack has this against your goalkeeper, which Rothrock puts the header right on him. Honestly, man, he should have just chested it down. They could have scored off this right here. So I think this still right here illustrates why that was such a risky play. Because if even one little thing goes wrong, like your feet are keeping one guy on side, then you end up like this. Which is, I don't know, man. That's crazy to me, bro. Like, to run that at that like that part of the field at all in the 87th minute of a 1-1, I feel like that's just reckless. Calling for Pauly's head on that miss. I mean, I think he was in shock. You know what I think he probably figured is I think he probably figured that the trap worked, so it didn't, like, maybe he wasn't even thinking that it mattered either way. I don't know. But they get away with it because he hits the header right at the goalkeeper. But Ferreira tracks it down. It goes out for a corner, and that corner is the one where Moose gets the game winner. So they may as well have given up the goal off the trap because they scored on the corner right after it. And they lost their godforsaken minds. They started crashing out at the refs immediately. And they were like, I mean, he wasn't offside. They didn't take kindly to that explanation at all. They were arguing, they were doing the VAR sign. But that's not going to get, that wasn't going to get overturned. I don't even think that's like that. It's a reviewable situation or a VAR-able situation anyway, because he didn't score it. If he scored it, yeah. But he didn't. So they're not going to, they would not, they can't go back and VAR that. So they gave up the game winner to Moose, crash out at the ref. And I don't know if you guys saw, but they got another red card. Well, okay. The crash out continued when they took a dog-so red for bringing down Obed. Great through ball by De La Vega. Love to see that. Obed's on a breakaway. He's in on goal, probably going to score. The guy, their center back, tugs him down. Dog-so, clear dog-so. And he starts arguing the red card, which it was about as inarguable a red card as it gets. But he started crashing out and losing it at the ref. And then after the game, they got another red card for their number 6 crashing out at the ref. They pulled a Seattle Sounders in Vancouver. The double red. The last one was retroactive. They didn't have to play with 9 men at all, like the Sounders did for like 58 minutes in that game or whatever. But I mean, I just thought that was a watching it back, that was one of the most self-inflicted situations. If you just defend the set piece like a normal team, that probably doesn't happen. Maybe Seattle gets the goal on the Ferreira free kick, but I mean that you definitely can't presuppose that like from that area of the field. So why did they do that? Like, am I crazy? Why would you run that trap in that situation? that's, I mean, I respect the courage on one hand, but no, Kyle, it doesn't affect league play, but I think like when they're in Leagues Cup again, it'll affect that. They'll be suspended for the first game of whatever like future iteration of this tournament that they're in. Yeah, I think the other people have it right. Like it doesn't usually transcend tournaments or into league play like that. But I mean, that's, you know, they're out of it anyway. So that doesn't really matter for them. But like they could have they would have had a chance to win that game still if they defend that set piece normally, make it out of that. And it's kind of crazy to think about because with this format, like Seattle would have been out with a loss. So if Moose doesn't score that and Tijuana somehow nicks another, that would have been Leagues Cup over. Done. Dusted. The 7-0 would have been cool, but ultimately fruitless. Which is kind of speaks to the difficulty of the format, which I think has good qualities to it. While, yeah, I agree, Trab, they probably need to tweak it a little bit. But I will say, like Schmetzer was saying, it made every second of every game feel like kind of like do or die. I guess not the Cruz Azul game, because, well, even that though was 0-0 at the half. And really the thing with this format with 4 out of 18 going through, you can't take an L. You cannot take an L at all. You need to win at least twice, and then you can draw the other and still go through. But even that, it's like a lot of these teams are in dicey situations, or were at least. But I'm going to show you guys something cool next. You guys want to see something cool? Want to see something cool? Check this out. This is pretty cool. You guys looked at this? That's the phase 1 table for both leagues. And you'll notice a few things here. Starting with this right here. That's first on the MLS table, but you know what that also is? That's first overall out of 36 teams. Like, I think we should just appreciate that for a minute. Like, even in like the ideal scenario of how phase 1 could go, finishing 1 out of 36 with a +9 goal differential, obviously a little skewed by the 7 spot, but that's why it pays to drop the 7 spot, right? They get the Y dash, which I guess Toluca also got. I thought the Y dash was for the number 1 overall team, but apparently I guess it's for the number 1 team in your respective league. But no one else did it. No one else went 3-0-0. Like I said, even in the most ideal scenario of how that could have gone, I wouldn't have called that. I wouldn't have even asked for that. I feel like in this situation, the degree of difficulty on advancing is so high, you just kind of take it however you can get it. Oh, what does the Y mean? What is the Y? Clinched first place in league. They shouldn't have a Y. That should be an X. Toluca, you can have the Y. And I mean, I guess just looking at this as well, you can see which Liga MX teams advanced, which it's among who you would expect. I think Pachuca is top of the Liga MX table right now. Tigres is obviously also a factor, but these 4 right here, these are the ones that Seattle could have to go through if they want to win this thing. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I know a heck of a lot about any of these teams. But to me, like based on what I do know about Liga MX, Tigres is always the one that fills me with the most fear, just because of their name value, their historical success. Refresh page. Is that better? Shoreline, I think I'm apparently it does match Seattle up against Puebla. I haven't been able to independently confirm that, but I've seen that multiple places. People in chat were saying that. Oh, refresh page to make Puebla get the X. That's weird. I wonder why I did that. But this is a good question for Mason here, related to this topic. Would you rather have Portland or the Galaxy? Galaxy have hosting rights, but Portland is Portland. That's a good question. Got to think about that for a second. I mean, I guess that question comes down to, would you rather host against Portland, who's a better team, or travel to play the Galaxy, who are the worst team? It's tough because going on the road always kind of cuts into whatever quality advantage you might have in any given game. And I will say too, I mean, I was going to talk about it later, but the Galaxy have been playing better. They're still not great, still not good times for them this year, but they were historically bad for like 18 games. They had the longest winless streak ever to start a season. They were like 14-2 or something. They have salvaged a little bit of dignity in recent weeks. They look like a lot more of a competent team. They'll get Ricky Puig back eventually, but they're not going to have him back for this tournament. But the thing about Portland is that the quality of their team is irrelevant when they play Seattle. They treat Seattle games like it's the UEFA Champions League final and they're Real Madrid. As we all know, the Timbies always do that. So even though I feel like Seattle's in the best form of anyone in this tournament right now, I never feel like secure or good about a Portland game because I know it was an issue for years. Less so in the last couple years, thankfully. But they get up for those games and they would be absolutely dying to come up here and knock Seattle out of Leagues Cup. So, man, I might take Galaxy away. Like that's that's how I feel about having to deal with the Timbies in this type of situation. You know how they would play it. They would go out there and be playing like it was the last game of soccer they were ever going to play. And that they had to win to survive. You know? It's a good question, though. It's a good question, and one that we're going to get the answer to in a couple hours here. Galaxy are kicking off against Santos, so that'll be a nice little good game of two pretty bad teams going at it. I'm looking forward to watching it. It starts in about 10-15 minutes here, so I'll pull it up and we'll get a little watch along action going, at least for a little bit. I'm definitely not gonna do the whole game, but we can suss the vibes, see how it's going. I was gonna say this earlier, but this is actually one of my favorite situations to be in. when you're in a tournament, you've already advanced, especially in this situation when you literally clinched first. And you get to just kick back the next night, watch everyone else scrap it out, duel for our entertainment without having any stress or worry about the table, how other results might affect you. You guys duel for it. So I'm looking forward to this Galaxy game. It's a good point, Shoreline. I'm not sure they're that bad anymore either. I don't think they're good per se. But like, I mean, I've watched them play a little bit in the last few weeks, and I can tell you guys that they look like a professional soccer team that can competently make it through MLS games sometimes and even take points in rare cases. They have done that. Won a few games now. So I would like, with the form Seattle's in right now and where the Galaxy are at as a team, I think Seattle would still be considered a favorite even on the road. But I would not think of them as some sort of situation if they do go through and knock the Timbies out. I would not necessarily think of it as like a pushover type situation where Seattle's going to just go in there and roll on them. And we're going to find out about them on Sunday because Seattle's back at it in league play at the Galaxy. So it's actually, I mean, we'll know by then if they're going to have to do it again. But if they do, we're going to get a little preview of what they might look like. It is pretty funny that they have hosting rights. Like, I get it in principle of like giving the previous champion hosting rights or whatever. It's not the craziest thing I've ever heard, but they just have been so bad this year that it's like, as we were talking about this last night in the press box, they should have to relinquish. If you get off to the literal worst start in MLS history, you should have to relinquish your Leagues Cup hosting rights that were afforded for winning MLS Cup. It's just not the team this year that you would think should or would have hosting rights for this type of tournament. But I mean, look, they won MLS Cup last year, and that's how it was decided. So, not arguing with that. But it is funny. According to the graphic, we cannot meet Portland or LA Galaxy until the final. Rather host the final against Portland than go to the Galaxy on the road for the final. Hosting a final against Portland would be pretty epic. It's just, there's no scales in that matchup. That is a just clean 50-50 toss-up. There's like no way to get an edge. There's no notion of like your quality alone being enough. Because, I mean, a derby game is always going to be a toss-up, but I think it's especially true of this derby in general, but also just right now at the moment. Either team could win anytime these teams play. It doesn't matter who's hosting. Like, there's no, I don't see home field advantage for that. I by the same token, like Seattle's been playing better at Providence the last couple of years. So I think it goes both ways. But I don't look at that matchup and feel like, oh, if Seattle has it at home, that like tilts it way towards them. Not against the godforsaken Timbies. Who I guess that's a good segue, because we did have some Timbies news to talk about. So let's talk about that real quick. Tom Bogues had the story on Soccer Wise, so I'm going to play that clip. Before I do that, please, everyone in chat right now, like the video, subscribe to the channel, buy the hot sauce, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. If you have yet to get your archive kit, do it by using our link, lobbingscorchers.com/archive. Another great way to support the show. Become a YouTube member. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, all that good stuff. All right. So basically, for anyone not in the know, the Timbies have a very talented winger, U22 player. I don't know if he's still on a U22, but that's how he was brought in. Named Santi Moreno, who's sick. He's a. Before I give my Santi Moreno takes, I'm gonna look up the year he's having because I'm honestly, he's having a good year. Transfer Marks got him at 4 goals, 5 assists. And this is a key player for them. This is a guy who had 21 goal contributions last year, 6 goals, 14 assists. He scores bangers, very goal dangerous player. But I mean, if you see 14 dimes, that's a guy who's also creative, unselfish, gets on the stat sheet a lot. Important player. He evidently wants out and took matters into his own hands. I'm going to let Tom Bogues explain the rest. This is from Soccer Wise, which Lobbing Scorchers was on this morning. Again, go check that out. But let's just get the update from Tom here. That's a good freeze frame of him. Might screenshot this.
There is no deal agreed. It was getting closer, though. And by Tuesday night, sources told me that Santi Moreno went to GM Ned Grabavoy and said, with the suitcase, said, I'm taking my stuff and I'm leaving. I'm gone. Whether you do the transfer or not, I'm not coming back. And he said goodbye to his teammates, I think, to try to pressure this move to happen. I was reporting this out yesterday, and it was just like, hey, if he's not on the bus, then, we'll have something just give him the chance that maybe he'll show up. And I was like, sources have told me he's on a plane to Colombia. He's not coming up. So I would say, Portland, we're going to, the bid was not their valuation of player anyway. It was $4 million. America de Cali, I believe, was the club that Portland signed him from, had 20% of the sellout. So Portland was saying a $4 million bid to us is like $3.2 million. Why would we do that? So they were going back and forth. And if Fluminense came up, they were reluctantly going to let him go. But now, I don't know, man. There is no good resolution here because if Santi Moreno is saying, I'm just not coming back, then, they don't have the player anyway. But if Portland say, okay, we'll do the deal, hopefully you get closer, then what's to stop the next player from being okay, cool, it's they reject the bid, but I want them, if I just stop showing up. So they're really upset with the player. I don't think that they're thrilled with Fluminense, as far as my understanding. They believe that this is tampering, right? And again, so they were getting closer on a deal. And now I think the only way a deal happens, and again, sources told me this morning, very unlikely, Portland are pissed. We'll see what happens, but I think Fluminense are going to have to pay a premium for whatever to make everything okay if this happens. And again, Portland don't want this to happen because they're really upset about the behavior in this situation.
That's not good. That's not good. I can't say I've ever seen that. We obviously, we know about the Reynoso. The Reynoso is something we've seen before, but this isn't the Reynoso. The Reynoso was going MIA entirely. Buddy went up to the GM with his backpack on and said, I'm out. Have you ever heard of that? It feels like the Timbies, weren't they how do they keep getting in these situations? They were publicly feuding with Evander and had to trade him to FC Cincinnati. Did a good job at replacing him, I think. I'm a DaCosta truther. I see DaCosta as similar to Albert Rusnak, actually, in that he doesn't get the shine because he's maybe not as flashy as an Evander. But he's just like simplicity is beauty sometimes, I think. I think DaCosta's that type of player. But still, like, I don't think you ever want to be in a situation where you have a player like Evander, who is one of the best players that's come to the league in the last few years, where he's like disgruntled and forcing his way out. Now you have Santi Moreno, another one of your best players, going up to the GM with his bags packed. I picture him with the, like the little, like the stick with the sack tied to the end when a little kid's running away. I picture him walking up to Ned Grabs with one of those. I'm out of here. From his perspective, I don't think that that's like an effective way of forcing the move. You heard Tom say it. Now they're just pissed off, and now they're like, no, that's not how we're gonna do business. We're not gonna sell you for 3.2 with his previous club in Colombia getting this with the sell on, and way below. I think that's pretty far below what they should and would charge for a player like him. He's like a 23, 24-year-old winger who is coming off a 20-plus goal contribution season. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jake. What is going on? Imagine if De La Vega went up to Craig Wibbes and was like, no, I'm going to Brazil. And you're gonna sell me to Fluminense for 3.2. It's just that'd be crazy. This isn't getting talked about enough, honestly. I think this is one of the craziest stories going on in MLS right now. And look, the Timbies are they're doing pretty well lately. I feel like it's been a little volatile with them, with Phil Neves and stuff this year. But I mean, they're pretty much the same Timbies as always to me, in that they are good at scoring goals. Not always as good on the other side of the ball. But like the Portland Timbies, you can put any iteration of them out on the field in Major League Soccer since 2011 or whenever they joined the league. And they're going to rip off some counters. They're going to have these guys that can score these crazy goals. They got Anthony out there. They got Santi Moreno until he ran away. But doesn't it feel like why would a player get that disgruntled? It can't be just about like his own, like, doesn't there have to be some kind of reason for that? I don't know, but that's crazy. And it's definitely like it's going to have ripple effects, because like I don't see any way that they repair. Like, how does this even end? Because he can't come back to the team. He can't. Like he basically quit the team, so they can't bring him back. But they can't sell him to Fluminense for what they're offering. So what happens? Does he just not play until his contract's up and then sign somewhere? I don't know. Anyway, it's entertaining from our perspective, I think. Just get to sit back. You guys better figure that out. And we're gonna see if they advance in Leagues Cup. They've had a good Leagues Cup. They're in good shape here. I would be surprised if the Gals pull this off, to be honest. I would, because the Timbies are sitting on a +5 GD. They had a really good game their first game, scored like 4 goals. So they're sitting on a +5. Basically, I mean, this is gonna be close, guys, and the Galaxy game is getting set to kick off, I think, right now. So for the last part of the stream, I'll probably pull that up, and it'll be a little watch along vibe. I might do our watch along we did for the Club World Cup charity match was actually pretty popular. So maybe I'll harken back to that, do some like my own broadcast commentary. That was the most popular part of the watch along, I think. I should get into broadcasting. People think I'm a good broadcaster, apparently. I'm gonna check and see what the kickoff situation of this is, because I'm ready to get this going, man. These post 8 p.m. kickoffs, what are we doing? All right, looks like it hasn't started yet. Still in pregame, so chilling, waiting for that to start. If you guys got any other topics or anything that I haven't talked about yet, feel free to drop them in chat while we wait here. And while we do that, I guess I can give my take on Sun officially joining LAFC and new character in Cascadia, Thomas Müller going to the Caps. Tommy Mule coming to MLS, to a club that I don't think I would have expected. The Whitecaps are not like traditionally the club that makes a transfer like that. But they did it. They pulled off Tommy Mule. So I don't need to spend like a great deal of time on this, but I think it's worth talking about because they're both obviously two of the biggest names of this last era in global footy. But I think Sun in particular, there's a lot of implications with that. First of all, on the field, so you never know like what the motivation, what the buy-in's going to be with these guys. You see all scopes of it. You got your guys like Pirlo and Shaqiri who just don't care, and they're basically just here to hang out. But you're seeing what Inter Miami has been able to do with Messi and the Barca boys and the team that they built. And that's one thing I will say about the Barca boys is, I mean, even Messi, people question his buy-in. The only scenario I would question his buy-in was if he was not bringing it when he was on the field and if he wasn't producing how we would expect Messi to. He's brought it for them. Like, you can't really like loaf your way and not be bought into 18 goals, 9 assists in like 1,100 minutes. So we'll see what part of the spectrum Sun falls on, but I think he is, as much as any player I could name, known as extremely like high character. Teammates love him. Works harder than anyone. He's just apparently just like a great guy. Everyone loves Sun. You're never gonna talk to a soccer fan of any ilk who's like, nah, Sun, screw that guy. I mean, maybe now that he's on LAFC, some MLS fans are gonna feel like that, but I think that's one thing they have working in their favor with it is just like the makeup of the player off the field. And then, I mean, just looking at how he's performed the last couple of years, he doesn't seem washed to me. Sometimes it can seem like that, and they hit a cliff, or for whatever other reason, they can't live up to their usual quality. But I mean, he was beasting in the Prem last year. And also, I was just going, I've seen his highlights for the last like 10 years since he's been on Tottenham. But I was watching him again just to give myself a refresher on what type of player we're talking about. The thing with Son specifically that I think is that is different than pretty much any signing you could make besides like a Messi or these guys of that caliber. The types of goals that he scores, it's like there's a very select few people on planet Earth who are capable of doing the stuff he does, where he can pull up from anywhere. And low percentage shots are like high percentage shots for him. And these types of these goals that he pulls out, it's just like I said, there's like a select few people who are physically capable of doing the stuff that he does. And to me, he's in that group of just like, you can have a game that's going against you, or maybe he's not having a good game individually, and then he can just hit you out of nowhere, but also just like from parts of the field that you wouldn't even think about, and he hits those. So if he's able to channel that for LAFC, I think it does make their team way better. And it could end up being worth the MLS record transfer fee for them of $26 million. But number one, to me, when you drop $26 million on any one player, even a player of this pedigree, they got to win MLS Cup now. Like, that's it. If they don't, they're out of Leagues Cup already. If they don't win MLS Cup this year, then they'll go into the offseason having spent $26 million for the exact same outcome as everyone else in the playoffs who didn't win MLS Cup and who didn't spend $26 million, which is fine. They'll have him next year. But the guy is about to be in his mid-30s. So they got I think they ratcheted up the pressure on themselves, which they're the type of club that they do stuff like this. They go for broke. They're trying to win trophies. But the thing is, like, one player, no matter how good, doesn't always, it doesn't necessarily fix everything if you have a lot of other issues. And LAFC, to me this year, I just feel like their vibes have been a little off ever since Steve C announced he was quitting. Their vibes have been off. There's their record and their points total and points per game and stuff, it's not up where LAFC usually is, but it's not even that. Like, their record is still good, and they still play really good footy. Even watching them in Leagues Cup, there were periods of time where they looked a lot like the LAFC teams that we've seen the last few years. But there's also been a lot of periods of time this season where they kind of, to me, they just don't look like fully in it, like fully locked, like they're playing for the badge week in, week out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's to do with the coach preemptively quitting and announcing himself as a lame duck coach, or if it's just where they're at roster wise right now. But I don't know if one player, even a player as good as Son, fixes that. Tribe Yamal is starting to reach that level. To me, there's like probably 10 or less guys at any given time that fall into this category of just being able to truly pull a goal out from anywhere like that and do it consistently. Do it to the point where it's like something that you can kind of like bank into your game plan every week. Honestly, the closest, I mean, obviously Messi is in that category. The closest MLS player to that, I think, is probably Evander. But like, imagine some of those goals that Evander pulls out and then way more frequently. That's Son's last 10 years with Tottenham and the South Korean national team. He's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. I was just watching the highlights today. Obviously, everyone knows that he's a generational player. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was watching the highlights today and I was like, okay. You are quite skilled. Now, Tommy Müller to the Caps as the Galaxy and Santos take the field for the pregame ceremonies. I think someone was asking the question earlier. Can't find it right now. But it was something to the effect of like, why would someone want to sign a 35-year-old striker who is also like a generational type player in his own right, but he's a couple years older than Son, and he also, Müller to me is like, it's not quite. He's one of the best of all time, as I understand it. You got anyone who follows the Bundesliga or the EPL closer than me, feel free to correct me. But Müller's game is more like he's one of the best of all time at like that in the box movement, like positioning, finding goals like that. And he's also a very underrated playmaker and facilitator. You could put Tommy Müller at the 10 or even out wide, and he's going to cook. But it's a little bit, he's not as much as like, I'm going to score a freaking banger every single week of my life randomly at any time in the game in that same way. But in a way, I think like his game should age well, and like someone who's been as prolific as he has in the Bundesliga throughout his career, if he comes in and is tearing it up at age 35, it wouldn't shock me. But to me, what that one's more about for the Caps is like, you know, first of all, they're going for stuff this year. Like they have cooled down a lot since they looked like one of the best MLS teams of all time to start the year and made the CCC final. They have not been at that level for a while. But I think you also got to think about they're going through like uncertainty regarding their future in Vancouver and like their stadium situation and stuff like that. And they have done a great job of creating equity this year by being a really good team. And that creates fan interest and fan support winning. But with them cooled down now, like that stuff I don't think has gone away. Like their stadium situation is still super uncertain. Their future, I would be surprised if they like got moved out of Vancouver, but you never know with the oligarch class. If they feel, I mean, we see it with like, you know, the teams in Oakland. They do that stuff. I mean, you've seen it in MLS. The Quakes moved to Houston in like 2005, right? Save the Crew had to be a thing because Anthony Precourt was trying to move them. So they're dealing with that like stuff right now. And signing a superstar name like this, I don't think that's like the sole reason they did it. I think if they had the opportunity to do it, they would have done it anyway. But like, it helps lock the city and the fan base in just a different kind of way than even like they could have signed like a 27-year-old South American number 9 who has like more future upside theoretically. but it wouldn't have the same sort of pull as Tommy. Here's the Tommy Mule scouting report from Rosie. Lovingly called Radio Müller. He is not a flashy player, but has a very high soccer IQ, can see opening and put in passes most players would miss. Yeah, that's sort of, I mean, I've been kind of getting back up to speed on both of these guys. I mean, I'm not a Bundesliga head. I haven't watched it a lot in my life. And I had a perception of him as like more of a like pure number 9. But he's a lot more than that. He does have that. But he's also like a 9 and a 10 in the same player, which is kind of always how I describe Messi, but it's a little different because I feel like Müller is he's built more like a traditional number 9. He's like the inverse of Messi. Messi's built like a 10, but has the 9 attributes. Müller's built like a 9, but has the 10 attributes. I don't know if this is making sense. But he's very multifaceted is the point. So I almost feel like for the Caps, it's about other stuff than just the on-field impact. It's about trying to generate buzz and generate interest and solidify their footing in the city and their standing in the city, which I think is fine. That's something that they got to think about. And if this helps that situation, they need to stay in Vancouver. Moving them from Vancouver would be disgusting. Moving any team is disgusting. Like what they did with the A's is criminal. This is a tangent. Galaxy game's kicking off right now. I'm going to hang out, watch this with you guys a little bit. Probably not stay on all that much longer. But we can watch the Gals duel for our entertainment for a while. What was I saying about Tommy Müller? I don't even remember. It's for their standing in the city and with the fan base and everything as much as anything. And I think that makes sense, and I get why they did it. And I think you could say similar stuff about Son as well. Like, there is a ton of like off-field and marketing benefits that are going to come with that. He's obviously, I mean, he's definitely the most revered Asian football player ever. And I mean, I think the only athlete that you could put above him, unless I'm missing something, is probably Shohei. But LA obviously has a huge Asian population, so they're gonna benefit from that in that way, and that stuff matters too. Goal Galaxy in the first minute. It's Joey Paints. It's Lobbing Scorchers' favorite, Joey Paints, with the opener in the first minute. Oh my God! Gabriel Peck sends it out wide, and Joey Paints redirects the Galaxy score. Oh my God. And now the Portland Timbies are really on the ropes here. Wow. I was not expecting to have to commentate and broadcast that fast, chat. Yo. A first minute goal. We're cooking now. Wow. What a start. Santos Laguna down incredibly bad once again. Getting bammed on by the 2025 LA Galaxy in the very first minute of the game. You got Marco Reus out there. Speaking of 35-year-old Bundesliga players, he's out there still doing it. He's actually having a good year. Joey Paints is in on goal again. Oh my God, are the Galaxy about to get 2? Joey Paints has it saved. The rebound goes to that U22 number 9 that they have. Can't remember him. And the Galaxy blow another golden chance. So the result that it would take to knock Portland out here, hold on, I'm going to pull up the table and confirm this. But I think the Galaxy were at +3 goal differential, which is the first tiebreaker. If the Galaxy win this, they in Portland will be tied on 7. And then the Galaxy would need to score. If the Galaxy score one more goal, and it's 2 goal difference, exactly. They need to win by 2 because then they get the goal scored tiebreaker. So, folks, we are in a situation right now where basically we're waiting to see if the Galaxy can get a 2-goal lead here, and they scored the first in the first minute of the game. So the Portland Timbies are hanging on for life here. That start has me flying on adrenaline. Wow. How are you going to let Joey Paints do that to you in the first minute of the game? If anyone listened to our show last season, back in the audio only days, we were touting Joey Paints all year. I still will always have an affinity for Joey Paints, even though he's pretty bad now. I don't know what happened to him. That's a fall off that should be studied because he was insane last year. I loved watching. Their whole offense last year was honestly so sick. Like they obviously, it's been an incredible fall off this year. But when they had Ricky Puig, Gabriel Peck, Joey Paints, and Dejan Joveljic, that was a buzzsaw. That was a freight train. And Joey Paints was like a huge part of that. This year, the Galaxy that I've watched, he is like, I think they got to a situation where it was like the results were getting so far out of hand that they just started to do too much. Are both these teams wearing white jerseys? Am I out of my mind, or are they both wearing white jerseys? Oh, okay, so Santos has stripes on him on the back. Okay, if you're just looking at the back, it's pretty confusing. That's not good for broadcast, though. I can see on the field, I don't think it'll be hard for them to tell apart, but like with this camera angle, it looks like a bunch of guys all wearing the same jersey, kind of. Santos have lost 20 straight matches. That can't be accurate. Green blending in with the grass. Yeah, exactly. All right, we got Greg Vanney coaching it up. He's the owner of an unexpected 1-0 first-minute lead for the LA Galaxy, delivered by Lobbing Scorchers staple Joseph Paintsill. Got a switch for Santos Laguna here, but that's headed out of bounds. They'll look to find this equalizer. Play a little spoiler. They are out of the competition after losing to the Seattle Sounders, as we all saw. What do you guys want to happen here? I was talking about it earlier. What do you guys want to see the I'm not gonna lie. The Galaxy, the 2025 LA Galaxy knocking the Timbies out here would be pretty funny. It just means that if Seattle plays the Galaxy, they have to travel. But it's like, I don't know. We're gonna find out on Sunday. We're gonna find out on Sunday what a road game against this Galaxy team is gonna look like. I will say that even in years where the Galaxy have been good, Seattle typically plays pretty well against the Galaxy. I think that's a real trend. Sometimes there's randomly matchups like that where even if it's a good team, one team gets the better of it, right? And then there's bogey teams, like Seattle always used to lose to the San Jose Earthquakes, even when they were not good. I think like dating back like 5-6 years now, the Galaxy are a team that Seattle usually, for whatever reason, I don't know why. It's like there's been a lot of these years where the Galaxy have been good, and that's still kind of been the case. All right, and Galaxy on the break again. It's Gabriel Peck this time. He takes a shot that's blocked. He is asking for the handball. He's not going to get it, but that's the third wide open transition look for the Galaxy in the first 10 minutes of this game. I think they're going to, like, if the game stays like this, the Galaxy are going to win this by multiple goals, and the Timbies are going to be out. I think you got to remember here too, like the Galaxy they have a lot riding on this in the sense that their season's pretty chalked. People are saying because they've been playing better, they're like, are the Galaxy going to turn it around? They're going to make a run? I don't think so. I mean, look, I'll look at the league table right now because I've heard that like posed as a thing in multiple places, and I'm like, I don't know why this narrative is even being floated, because they are literal, not just bottom of the West table, bottom of the league table. 30 out of 30. 3, 14, and 7. So okay, they've won 3 games since their historically bad start, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's better than 0 games. That's what they had won before. Won 3, they had 1-0. But that's still good for a nice little 0.67 points per game with a little negative 20 goal differential. Even if Ricky Puig comes back, like, the hole is just too deep at this point. But the point is, they have to, if they want to salvage any semblance of dignity from the kind of disaster of a season they've had, they need to make a Leagues Cup run. What if they won Leagues Cup this year? On the strength of their MLS Cup hosting rights in a year where they've won 3 league games through match day like 27 or 28 or whatever it is. Stranger things have happened. Their league form going back to June, I mean, yeah, half decent is how I would describe it. Better than it was. I definitely think that is true. But that has them dead last on the league table. This team, I mean, Marco Royce, pretty clean look in the box. That's another decent chance for the Galaxy. The old man puts it a little high. Get the replay here. You got this number 19 guy, fullback, putting it in from out wide. Royce skies that. If we're taking home field advantage out of it, like, as not part of the consideration, I would 100 times out of 100 take a matchup with this Galaxy team over a matchup of any iteration of the Timbies. This Galaxy team, it's kind of like, remember when Seattle played Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and I was telling you guys, they might score first, but don't worry about it. It's the Chicago Fire theorem. A mentally weak team will crack eventually. They might score first, but you just have to keep coming at them, and they will get in their own heads and they will crack. That's what happened in the Atlanta game. They scored first, but it didn't matter because eventually, they're going to make a mistake. They're not going to be able. They can't hold leads. This Galaxy team is very similar to this year's Atlanta team in that way. And I mean, we'll see. Like this game this Sunday, both these teams have been putting it in Leagues Cup, so that might affect the dynamics some. But the biggest problem this Galaxy team has is stuff like that. Blowing leads, mental mistakes, lack of fortitude, right? That's stuff that with how Seattle is firing an attack right now, any team with that kind of quality, with those kind of qualities, I'd be kind of talking myself into wanting the Galaxy to win this. Even on the road, I think that's a very favorable matchup for Seattle with the form that they're in. It's not a Chivas shirt, but it could be. Hate the Galaxy as much as the Timbies because I hold a grudge from 29 to 2012 when they kept knocking us out of the playoffs. I mean, that went all the way to 2014. But that was just, I mean, that was a different time. Those were the Landon Donovan, Robbie Keane years, Juninho. I mean, even last year was a different time as it pertains to the Galaxy. They had another chance while I was going on that tangent right there too. They're absolutely all over Santos right now. This is one-way traffic. Santos, if they don't change this game state, they are going to get bammed on at least a couple more times. It's just a matter of time. Maybe they get one against the run of play here. We'll see. They send a cross in right now. It's right at the goalkeeper. Now the Galaxy are going to try and get off and running again. Great distribution from whoever their goalkeeper is. Gabriel Peck going in again. Let's see. That's a slide tackle out for a corner, but Galaxy are having a field day out wide right now. Gabriel Peck, that's his second or third wide open counter down the right side. The service from Joey Paint for the Joey Paints goal came in from the right side. Galaxy have a corner kick right now. I mean, 16th minute, a lot of time for it to change, but this is not looking good for our friends at Santos Laguna. They are getting absolutely lambasted right now by the 2025 LA Galaxy. This should already be at least 2-0 based on the game state and the chances. Now they don't close out the fullback again. He sends in a cross. That's cleared out, but recycled out to Royce. He sends in a cross. Oh my God. Marco Royce just sent in a perfect cross to, I believe that was Garces. He's unfortunately pretty bad, so he doesn't get anywhere close to getting that one on target. But another big time chance. Oh, okay. That might not have been Garces' fault. I retract. I think the defender might have gotten to that. I mean, folks, this is feeling like a matter of time. I think the Timbies are going to be out of this. You're right, Stick and Wiggle. They did knock Seattle out last year, but I don't think and that's a fair counterpoint to what I was saying too about Seattle typically playing well. I guess that what I was saying kind of applies to the regular season. I don't know. It's just a vibe. Like when I go into Galaxy games when Seattle's playing the Galaxy, I'm never really like tripping. Whereas when they're playing Portland, it's always like, oh God, gonna have to deal with a bunch of godforsaken maniacs playing like their careers and lives as they know it are fully on the line based on the result of the game. It's how Seattle should be playing those games too, to be clear. Like that was the whole issue for years, is they were playing it like that. Every derby they were playing it like that, and Seattle just wasn't. I rationalized that by pointing out that the Timbers derbies, while very important and some of the biggest games of the year, are not the biggest game that Seattle plays in necessarily in a given year. But that's probably cope. I think it is still a dynamic where the Timbies, you know they're going to come into those games like that. And Seattle has done a better job the last few times they played of matching that intensity. But I just don't really like having to deal with that. Portland has some good players, guys like Evander and Santi Moreno. Exactly. You got to fear Santi Moreno every time he's out there. Great player for them. Shit is crazy, man. He ran away. All right, we got a scheduling update from Azurata here. Thanks for this. Looks like we're playing Puebla in the quarterfinal. That is, as I understand it, that is what's going down. Currently, Orlando would play Pachuca. That's a tougher matchup. MLS 4 would meet in the final. That would be the Galaxy if they win this, or the Timbies if they go through, right? Currently, Orlando would play Pachuca in the other quarterfinal that plays ours in the semi. MLS 4 would meet us in the final. So, does that mean Seattle, if the Galaxy win this and Seattle goes to the final, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to deep dive into the full implications. I would obviously ideally prefer it if Seattle hosts the final. Yeah. I'm not clear on how that gets determined, obviously. I feel like how you played in phase 1 should play into that. I don't know if it will. It seems like they have other ways of determining stuff. But I think if you go 3-0-0 with a +9 in phase 1 and are the only... Oh, my God, Joey Paints is in again. Can he make it 2? Oh, my God, Joey Paints just sold. He had a wide open net for the chip, and he somehow puts it wide. The XG for the LA Galaxy must be absolutely crazy right now. It's Nascimento, the U22 number 9, whose name I forgot earlier. Joey Paints, what? Oh my goodness. He just mishits that. It's a wide open net. That's the Joey Paints of 2025 that we've come to know and love. He got his goal. Now he's back. I don't know how he missed that. This is, folks, we are in the 22nd minute, and this really should be like 3 or 4-0. The Galaxy are doing right now what the Sounders have done the last couple games, and XG merchanting and generating insanely high leverage chances that they're just not finishing. The Apple XG, which I never know what to make of their formula, but they just showed it on the screen. They currently have LA already at over 2 XG 20 minutes into the game, and Santos Laguna at 0.12. I mean, this is one-way traffic. This is the type of game state that like when it's this one-sided, you just have a very long way to go to even it out, unless you get to halftime and you can make some adjustments. But right now, Santos is under it, and it's not looking like they are getting out of this anytime soon, although they do have a chance here, a chance in the box. Oh my goodness. That was actually a good look for them. It's a great block by Maya Yoshida. Otherwise, that could have been the equalizer as I was talking about it. You can have these goals against the run of play. It does happen. That's why these missed chances by Joey Paints and the gang could prove consequential. corner kick for Santos Laguna coming in right now. That's right at the goalkeeper. And now the Galaxy put it back in play, and they are looking for that second goal that could put them in position to advance and knock the Portland Timbies out of Leagues Cup. Gabriel Peck isolated again out wide. He's taking on his defender. He backheels it to the, oh my goodness. Another pretty good look. Who is this this right back? He is having a hell of a game. Who's 19 on the Galaxy? Great little like back heel setup here from Gabriel Peck. Oh my God. They're toying with him. The Santos defenders are starting to crash out. Who is this right back? I'm going to look this up. Yeah, that was almost a carbon copy. Cuevas, okay. I think he's a U22. Or is he homegrown? I don't know. But he is balling out right now. Santos again. They're starting to come into the game a little more, it seems like. They've had some possession in the final third. Couple of good chances, and they just absolutely kicked Cuevas right in the head with a bicycle kick attempt. He's going to get a yellow card for that. That's one of those ones where, oh my God. I mean, that could be a red card. He escapes with the yellow. I do feel like you typically do see that given as a yellow, not a red. No issues with that necessarily. That was a pretty ill-advised bicycle attempt. Cuevas is up. Looks like he's going to carry on, which he's been one of the Galaxy's best players in this first half. So we'll see if he can keep it cooking after getting kicked in the head. We're showing the replay one more time. Let's take a look at this. Maybe VAR is... Did they give a red on that earlier in the tournament? Okay, are they checking for red? Oh my God, please send them off. Please. I think I'm there like rooting for Galaxy at this point. I understand the hosting rights thing. But I think talking it through tonight, I'll take a matchup with them on the road. It's kind of nice, I guess, that they get to test run it this weekend, right? All right, no red card. It'll stay 11 on 11. That would have been too good to be true, content-wise, irrespective of who you want to win or lose here. Slowed down a little bit. The Galaxy need to. I think if I were them right now, I would really just keep trying to hammer them in transition as much as possible. Just keep spam that right side. Play long balls over the top to Gabriel Peck or through balls and Cuevas. Stick with what's working. Don't let Santos into this. I would say overall, in the last 5 minutes or so, Santos has calmed it down a little bit. But, I mean, there was a period of this half where it felt like they were giving up chances every single time. And now Gabriel Peck is off and running again. Back out to Cuevas again. They're taking my advice. I should be a coach. Cuevas with another cross. Oh, my God. Gabriel Peck sold now. Another wide open look that he just doesn't connect with. Cuevas apparently is the best right back in MLS. This guy's absolutely torching them. They are looking good. But I don't know how much of this is them being good and Santos is bad. The fact that Seattle only beat this team 2-1, like, I don't really care. Like, it's tournament footy, you take whatever win, but it like bothers me a little bit that they only beat this team 2-1. This is also a good point. The Galaxy are going to, they're emptying the tank right now. Like, are they going to be able to start Peck, Joey Paints, Fagundes, all their guys? Marco Royce is 42-year-old Marco Royce about to empty the tank in a Leagues Cup game and then go a full effective 90 against Seattle. I think they're gonna have to rotate a little bit, which honestly, I don't know about skeptical, but the 11 that Schmetzer rolled out last night, it's like, this is risky, man. Like, you got to take a result in this game. It's a must. It's not a must win, but it's a must result. It's a must at least draw. I thought they were gonna throw the strongest, the absolute like first choice 11 out there. I thought De La Vega was going to be out there. I thought Moose was going to be out there. But now that he did put the rotated lineup out there, and they still won the game, they could end up with a little bit of an edge in this game this weekend against the Galaxy in having rested some people. I mean, the double pivot obviously never gets any rest, but the wingers and the striker and the fullbacks got some rest. Yeah, I think Stick and Wiggle has it right here. Don't really care if the Galaxy win or lose, but I want them chasing that second goal for another 60-plus minutes. Yeah, tire him out. Gabriel Peck is already ran a lot in this game. Corner kick for Santos, 31st minute. Terrible delivery, right into the side netting. That'll be a goal kick. Not the ideal set piece for them, but we'll get it back started with the Galaxy goal kick, and we're back underway at Dignity Health Sports Park. Half hour gone. The LA Galaxy with a 1-0 lead on a first-minute goal from Joey Paints. They need one more to give themselves the margin that they would need to knock the Portland Timbies out. Enthralling stuff, folks. I mean, it's going to be absolute scenes. Joey Paints now sprung on the break again. Santos just can't stop the Galaxy from getting out on the counter. He's going to play the switch to Peck, who takes it down, picks his head up. He's looking for his options now. Doesn't find any. Back to Fagundes. Oh my goodness. Another big chance for the Galaxy. Gabriel Peck again. Fagundes loops one over the top. It's not cleared by Santos. Marco Royce sets up Gabriel Peck, but he can't quite put that on target. I mean, mark up some more XG. Are they about to set like an XG record? Damn. Good question from Rhombus. Who are we going to see in place of Rusnak? And does Osaze deserve another start over the Musaya? As far as how I think they're going to run it without Rusnak, what I think they should do and what they will do is run Ferreira in that spot. I know there's like been discourse about whether, oh my goodness, that is a penalty kick. No way. Cuevas, the best right back in MLS, just got cleaned out in the box. He got finger wagged by the refs. Let's see the replay. That's actually a good tackle. That was a good tackle. Good sportsmanship from Cuevas. Not trying to argue it. That'll be a corner kick for the Galaxy. We'll watch them take this, and then I'll get back to your question, Rhombus. They are XG merchanting tough right now. This is crazy. I don't know how they don't have like at least 3. Santos did chill it out for like a little bit there, but this has still been about as one-sided a half as it gets. I think LA, you really got to get this second while the game state is so skewed in your favor. You don't know if it's going to stay like this into the second half as you get a little more tired. So it's been a long time now of XG merchanting without capitalizing. And if you let a team like this hang around, you're always susceptible to that against the run of play equalizer, or just them getting you for one after you've tired out and can't run at them like this anymore. So getting the second goal of paramount importance for the Galaxy, both for the game, but also for them getting the margin that they need to advance, get the Timbies out of there. Yeah, this is as one-sided as the Seattle versus Cruises will have. But imagine if they just didn't score any of the goals. They had all the same chances, but they just didn't score. That's what this feels like. I think they're going to run Ferreira as the first choice 10 in place of Rusnak with Danny Leva as the alternative option or the substitute option. The other thing I could think of is maybe giving De La Vega a little look there. I mean, he wears the 10. The reason I the only reason that I thought of that, just with how good he's looked out wide, is that through ball he played to Obed on the one where the Tijuana guy got the red card last night. That was a number 10. That was an Albert Rusnak style through ball. That was clean. De La Vega is just so far in the zone right now. I feel like you could put him in there. He could do well, but I think it'll be Ferreira. I think it's more important to keep De La Vega in the position where he's been hot than Ferreira. Ferreira's positioning, I think I'm getting to the point where the discourse around it, I'm like, how much does this really matter? Like where he kind of floats around. He sort of just plays every position. There's portions of the game when he's listed out wide where he's kind of playing like a 10, and he's been doing it pretty well. This is another interesting part of the question, though. Does Osaze deserve another start over the Musaya? That's a difficult question right now. We got a dangerous free kick from Santos that I'm going to let them take, and then talk about that a little more. Oh my goodness, he puts it off the wall. If they're going to get back in this game, moments like that are the way to do it. Santos called for a foul now. That's going to go the other way. Joey Paints is grabbing his ear. Santos player is now down. He appears to be faking an injury despite his team losing the game. Interesting strategy there. Man, I mean, he's writhing. Maybe he's actually hurt. He got called for the foul, so that's a tough scene for him if he is hurt. Here's my take on this question about Osaze and Moose. I think Moose is still the first choice option. If I was making my first choice starting 11 today as it stands without Jordan Morris, I think I put Moose in. I think it's significant, like we were talking about earlier, that Osaze got the start last night. I think it's like a big sign that Schmetzer trusts him. But I mean, Moose also scored last night. And I mean, Moose has 10 goals, all comps. He's at double digits now. A lot of people don't like, man, I still see people who like use Moose as like a meme. Like Seattle Sounders not signing a U22 number 9 when their striker is Danny Musovsky. Danny Musovsky is your number 9? Yeah. Yeah, he is. He has 10 goals, all comps. You know how many goals Emmanuel $22 million Latte Loth has this year? I don't even know. But it's not 10. I don't even know if it's particularly close to 10. So, and we have a Galaxy goal. Galaxy goal. There it is. It's Nascimento with the finish. It was bound to happen. I can't believe it hadn't happened already. That is a Galaxy goal. Oh my goodness, folks. Let's watch this replay. I didn't even see it. It's my guy, Cuevas, again with the delivery. Nascimento slides in. Easy finish. Close range. Let's see this replay again. Yeah, that's his goal. That is not an own goal. Dude, Cuevas. Cuevas available for trade? God damn. I actually don't want him. Give me Alex Roldan and KKR. But he's having that kid is absolutely murking Santos. Literally all the Galaxy are doing is just spamming Cuevas and Gabriel Peck down that side and going, stop us from doing this, or we're just going to keep doing it. And they're not stopping them from doing it. Apparently the Santos coach got a yellow card. Not sure what he's on about there. His team just got absolutely bammed on. And they are getting freaking worked right now, man. I would not want to be out there anymore if I were them. This should be at least 3 or 4-0. Like, this could have been very feasibly one of those crazy halves like Seattle had against Cruz Azul, or like Orlando had against Necaxa yesterday, or like a couple of other teams that put on these Liga MX teams. This should be even more crooked. Now let's see, folks, if they can get a third. But as it stands, unless I'm missing something, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. This would have the Timbies out and the Galaxy through. And you know what, guys? I'm there. I'm rooting for that outcome, despite the hosting rights thing. First of all, the Timbies crashing out in addition to their little Santi Moreno saga. That'd be funny. But I think it's this simple. Maybe the Galaxy are Leagues Cup God mode, but I don't think so. I think this is a product right now, what we're watching right now. I think this is a product of very not good and tired opposition, more than it is about the Galaxy going Leagues Cup God mode. And they're a worse team than the Timbies. I'm telling you, I know they look like Real Madrid right now. This Galaxy team, if they're going up against a good team, they have shown time and again this year they're mentally weak and they will crack. If they have a lead, they will blow it if you just keep coming at them. The Santos team is clearly in no position to take advantage of that. But with the form Seattle's been in, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. But if we're just talking about what matchups we feel the best about, I think it would be against this iteration of the Galaxy. And, that's going to get put to the test to an extent this weekend. I think, the lineups, we'll see what kind of lineup they put out there. And, don't get me wrong. They've got some dangerous players. Gabriel Peck, clearly, you can see it in this game. He's very talented. Marco Royce is like one of the only guys on their team having a pretty good year. But they're weak defensively and in midfield for a team that just set its club record for the most goals ever scored in a 7-game span, like Seattle just did. Feels like the matchup you want on paper to me. I don't know. How much money to watch along the whole match? If you guys fire up some supers, I'll do that. I was going to get off at halftime, but I guess I can be bribed. I am going to be watching it, but I was not planning on streaming the whole thing. But if there's demand for it, I'll do it. That's the sacrifices I make for the content. Coming up on halftime here. 2-0 Galaxy. All right. I will watch along this entire godforsaken game. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Wasn't sure how much shelf life watch alonging LA Galaxy versus Santos Laguna Leagues Cup Phase 1 was going to have, but if you guys are having fun hanging out watching the game, I'm down. Let's do it. We might have a red card here. Looks like that guy just put studs in the back of Maya Yoshida's leg. Oh my goodness. Is that a second yellow? Oh my goodness, chat. Santos Laguna has just had a man get sent off. Andrew coming in with the $20 bribery. Thank you, man. Honestly, you guys don't have to super it. You can. I'm not going to tell you not to. But the bribery thing was mostly a joke. But I appreciate you, man. Go Sounders. Absolute scenes at Dignity Health Sports Park. Santos Laguna. This is what I mean when I was talking about how I'm like a little tilted Seattle. This is what Seattle should have done to this team, dude. They're so bad. They were about to do that to this team, I think, in the last 15 minutes there until Georgie got sent off for the Christ yellow, or for the Christ yellow, second yellow. Because Seattle was XG merchant in that game, should have been up by more than the one goal. Finally, Georgie comes through with the banger. Then he gets sent off for, just the myriad of ways this team, Seattle, has found to get sent off, get guys ejected this year. Like, I didn't think I would see a red card with more novelty to it than Nuhu throwing a ball into the stands and flipping off the ref, demonstrating to the ref what the fan did to him by flipping him off. Georgie was just trying to credit Christ for the role that he played in Georgie scoring that goal. I wouldn't have thought that you get sent off for that. Mason, thank you for the $5. Appreciate you, man. Some of us are relegated to watching the reflection behind you. Yeah. That a lot of people don't like the reflection. I'll change the setup someday. It's just I'm lazy. And when those actually aren't my jerseys, those are Noah's jerseys, but he gave them to me for the set, and we did not take into account, or he loaned them to me. We'll take them back at some point, but we did not take that into account when we hung it up. So that sort of, I think I look at it as sort of like something that distinguishes my my streaming setup. You get to see two versions of it. All right. Fourth minute now. First half stoppage time. Santos Laguna playing down a man. I mean, they've absolutely chalked themselves. And I mean, honestly, folks, that red card, that might be it for the Portland Timbies. And we have a third goal, but Maya Yoshida. Oh my God, he's not offside. He is not offside. I thought that was going to get waved off. I'm watching it on mute, so I thought from his reaction that meant that he didn't look like super hyped at first. So I thought that the flag went up, but it did not. That is a third Galaxy goal off a corner kick here, short corner. Royce to Fagundes. Joey Paints puts the initial ball on target. Goalkeeper spills it. Maya Yoshida, Johnny on the spot, looking like a classic number 9. Easy rebound finish. That is a third goal. That is a third goal for the LA Galaxy. And I think that's it, man. Why does Yoshida looks like pissed? What? That is a good goal. No offside call. Ball back in play. 3-0 Galaxy. And that is halftime. Wow. So just to size it up here, the Galaxy needed to win by 2 goals to advance and knock the Timbies out of here. And they put a 3 spot on Santos in the first half. They get it. Oh my God. Now we have got a coach red card. We have got a coach red card. The Santos Laguna coach is crashing out at the referee, and he has been shown a red card. I don't know if that's the head coach or just an assistant, maybe. Someone from the Santos coaching staff has been sent off. Give us the replay, please. They are not giving us the replay. They have cut to commercial. I need to look up if that was the head coach. I'm going to Google images this really quick because that would be hella funny. I don't know what he is crashing out about. His team got absolutely slammed by the 2025 LA Galaxy. That was not even like you could have Santos playing with 12 guys. Wouldn't have helped him. They got rolled. They should be down 5 or 6 goals right now. Like, I don't think that's an exaggeration. I don't think that guy who got the red was the head coach. Doesn't look like him, but maybe he grew his hair out. Gonna try and please let it be the head coach. Okay, I don't think that was him. That's not him. Or actually, I remember I watched his presser. That was the long-haired guy who got the red is not the head coach. Must be like an assistant. Still funny, but not as sick as it would have been with the head coach. Stick and Wiggle, thank you for the $5. Appreciate you guys coming in with the supers. Appreciate the support. Glad you guys are having fun watching Phase 1 Leagues Cup. That's some sicko stuff. To me, it looked like he gave the red card to the guy with the long hair. That guy was ready to scrap. He was doing one of those things where he was coming at the ref and like getting held back. But he was pissed. Azarata, thank you for Santos crashing out hard. I mean, this has been some good crash out content. I think Club Tijuana's crash out last night was underrated. I didn't fully appreciate it enough in the moment. All right. Okay, we got the oh. Who got this red? They're replaying it right now. That is the head coach. That is the head coach who was yelling at him right there, but I couldn't tell if that's who got the red. The guy with the short hair who was yelling before that. That's the head coach. This long-haired guy I thought was who got the red. If anyone's watching with audio, I guess you do want the head coach in the second half. But like what's the point of contention? Is it the guy that got sent off correctly for his second yellow? Is that what he's mad about? Any like notion that the refereeing has anything at all to do with the situation that Santos Laguna is in right now is silly to say the least. Buddy, your issue is that the boys just got absolutely waxed by the literal worst team in Major League Soccer right now, like record-wise. You made the 2025 LA Galaxy look like Real Madrid if you crossed them with 2012 Barcelona. Added a dash of Manchester United circa early 2000s. That's what the LA Galaxy just looked like against Santos Laguna in that half. Based on this score, we'll meet LA Galaxy in the semis if they make it through the quarters, I'm assuming. Does anyone know who the Galaxy play? They're going through at this point. R.I.P. Timbies. R.I.P. Timbies. Shout out to the Portland Timbies Leagues Cup 2025 run. It was actually unironically pretty good Leagues Cup run. They're kind of in that situation where how hard it is to advance did them in like a tournament with like a normal 4.36 XG in one half is what Apple has them at. To me, Apple's model seems pretty inflated a lot of the time. They have XG numbers where I'm like, why is that 2.5 goals higher than every other model? But that felt like 4.36. I think it could have been higher. They're down to 9. It was a player, not a coach. No shot. All right. Now the coach has to get ejected. He's got to come up with some reason. What did the second guy get ejected for? Was it dissent? I didn't see like a foul. Santos right wing. What did he do? Was he crashing out at the ref? Oh my God. Liga MX is down kind of bad, man. I don't think this tournament, how it goes, is representative of like MLS's or Liga MX's quality necessarily, like one way or the other. But I gotta say, okay, I'm just saying, for a league that, and it's not even like the league itself, but for a league that gets put on a pedestal by its fans, by its media, by people in the US, frankly. There's been some rough performances in there. Their best team lost 7-0 to the Seattle Sounders. That's the best team they have in this tournament. I hope everyone understands that. Like, Cruz Azul was literally like a few hours before they played Seattle. Some publication, I can't remember what, came out with some like formula that they had calculated that Cruz Azul was the best team in the world that's not based in Europe. That I didn't say that. Someone else said that. Let's see if I can find that. It was going around and I did see it. Let's see if we can take a look at this. Oh, it was Opta. Let's take a look at this list. Let's take a look at this little list. This is a funny list, guys. Check this out. This is the Opta list. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to zoom in. It won't let me. It won't let me. Hold on, I'm gonna try and find like the actual article. Where is this? All right. I guess I'm going to have to go back to the Reddit list. They have the list. I just am not. Okay, wait. I'm going to try one more thing. They got Opta is power ranked every team in the world. All right. Cowards. Can't find their article, but I'll reshare the Reddit list. And if you guys can't see that, I'll read it to you. Opta had Cruz Azul, number one best team outside of Europe. Number one. It's not even like they were in the top like 5 or 10. They had them at number one. You got Flamengo. You got River Plate, Toluca, Palmeiras. These are clubs, I guess, that I would expect. Inter Miami at 12. You got Inter Miami, Columbus Crew, and Philly Union, 12, 13, and 14. Interesting. No Seattle Sounders to be found. Toluca at 4. Yeah, that's correct. They got the Columbus Crew and the Philly Union in there. Which, okay. Open to interpretation, I guess. The Columbus Crew and the Philly Union are pretty good. Are they the 13th best, 12th and 13th best clubs globally outside of Europe? I don't know if I would at least, I get why Inter Miami would be up there because of Messi and the Barca boys. I don't know if I would put Columbus and Philly are hella good, but I think we can God bless Opta. I do use their XG. Whatever formula they use to calculate that list, they might want to readjust that. It is deeply funny that they put that out and then Seattle beat that team 7-0. It made it even better. It made it even better. But I think the original point I was making is it's like, if we're talking about how Liga MX has performed in this tournament overall, like, dude, okay, what's the consensus best team in MLS? I guess there's not really a consensus best team in MLS right now. Philly's leading the Shield race, but like, you got your Columbuses, your Cincy's, you got your LAFC still gets talked about in that vein. I'm not saying Seattle because like people don't talk about Seattle like that. I mean, they probably are now because of how well they played in Leagues Cup. But the national narrative, people like to downplay Seattle nationally because I think my theory is it's like people like the new thing. Seattle's been around for a minute. And when I say downplayed nationally, I just mean in terms of like when people are talking about the best teams in the league, Seattle's name still comes up, but like people are not going to say Seattle like off rip. They're going to say Miami, Columbus, Cincy, LAFC. LAFC is below Seattle on the table right now, and people would still say LAFC before they said Seattle. Current rankings of Liga MX and MLS. Is this Opta? Toluca, Miami, Columbus, Azul, Orlando, Philly. Sounders 7, LAFC 8, Cincy, Club America. Current Opta rankings. Yeah, I don't know how much I trust Opta right now after their Cruz Azul take. I'm just saying, if I got on this show and dished the take that Cruz Azul is the best, number one best non-European team, and then they got waxed 7-0 by an MLS team, I would take heat for that. Deservedly. The East Coast thing is real. It is. I mean, think about it for them. It's 1:00 in the morning for them right now. They're not watching this. The people I work with on the MLS editorial desk, most of them are based in New York City. They have to stay up for stuff like this. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes I'm wrapping up at like, midnight or 1. They're like still awake. Brother, it's 4 a.m. Seattle was legitimately out of sorts for a while when they couldn't score goals. That sticks in people's memory. They have had a solid attack lately, though. That is fair. Like, at least for the first part of last year. They did make the oh my God. So all right, the second half is underway. Yeah, Max, I'm doing a watch along for the entire Galaxy game. We're watching the LA Galaxy absolutely destroy Santos Laguna. The Timbies are chalked. If 9-man Santos pull within a goal of the Galaxy here to send the Timbies through, I mean, it would be among the most legendary performances. It would be an incredible second half effort, to say the least. What do you even do when you got nine guys out there down 3-0? What do you tell the boys in the halftime locker room? Does anyone know what he did? What did that guy do? Another early chance for the Galaxy. That was Joey Paints. That was pretty open, honestly, but he put it right at this goalkeeper. Offensive language. Okay, so it was like something like that. It wasn't like a foul that I missed or something. Good. Get him out of there. Offensive language. Can't be using it. What a freaking meltdown, man. What a meltdown. If Georgie hadn't got sent off for crediting Christ for his goal, I think Seattle would have hung a couple more on this team. Nascimento into the side netting, but so far, second half ain't looking much different from the first. The Galaxy were beating the absolute. Oh, he's offside. The Galaxy were beating the absolute shit out of this team when it was 11-on-11. So this could go off the rails here, folks. Let's see if LA can hit a 7 spot here. Let's see if they can do it. Seattle did it fully 11-on-11. So I'll point that out if they do hit the 7. But this is where you show no mercy, in my opinion. You think these Liga MX teams would be showing mercy for you? No. That's what was so satisfying about watching Seattle put that 7 spot on them. All right. Galaxy knocking it around again. There's a cross that oh my God, what a save. They almost have the 4th. I think that guy might have been trying to cross it, but the goalkeeper lays out, has to tip it away. Offside call anyway. We need to get a hold of that one dude from Austria from Club World Cup that was trying to troll this chat and claim the Timbers were his new favorite team. That guy was kind of goated. That was one of the all-time Lobbing Scorchers chat crash outs. That and the Club World Cup, the Club World Cup streams got lit. You had the Austrian guy, and then you had remember the RBW brigade? That was wild. One crash out like here and there is to be expected, I think. But the extent that man lost it about RBW being out of position on defense like 3 times. That was crazy. All right. 50th minute at Dignity Health Sports Park. LA Galaxy up 2 men. They have chalked the Portland Timbies out of Leagues Cup. Joey Paints taking on 2 guys. Gets dispossessed. Again, that's the Joey Paints of 2025 that we know and love. Another bad giveaway for Santos. LA back on the ball. God love him, Santos Laguna. They're doing their best with 9 men out there, but it's still not going well. I might just forfeit if I were them. Sometimes in life, you got to just chalk it and quit. That's what I always say. When you're down 2 men to the 2025 LA Galaxy, you might just want to not even play it out. Ooh, I like the idea there. And that is, oh my God. That chance did not quite come off for LA. They get flagged for offside again. I think that's their 3rd time this half. What is this? The Seattle Sounders? 3 offside goals in like 10 minutes? This is about to be wrapped. I think the question here is, Joey Paints. Joey Paints could have a Hattie if he was 2024 Joey Paints. Fortunately, he's still, the 2025 iteration still is kind of a bot. Galaxy have essentially just been knocking it around right at the top of the Santos area for most of this half so far. They need to start feeding Cuevas again. That was easily their best strategy in the first half. Oh, please send this guy off. Please send this guy off. I wanted that to be a second yellow. Another yellow card to Santos Laguna. One of their fullbacks, it appears, will now be playing the rest of this half on a yellow. Let's see, folks, if they can get the coveted 3rd red card. Let's see if they can do it. They want to do it. They're crashing out to that extent. And now he's crashing out and talking trash to the guy that he just got the yellow card foul on. I mean, this is... We'll see how many goals the Galaxy end up getting here, but this is on pace to be just as bad as Cruz Azul's meltdown. This has a double red involved. That could have been a red. I think the ref gave him a break there. I think they're going to get another one. They're at the point right now where they've fully cracked, and now it's just a matter of what that leads to. It could be another red card. Could be more crash outs at the referee. Marco Royce standing over the corner kick now. He's going to take it short. Galaxy content to knock this around. Looks like Royce was offside, but he is not waved. Joey Paints. Oh my goodness. Another chance for the Galaxy, but Joey Paints can't quite pull it off there. Still the Galaxy on the ball. I mean, this is just ridiculous at this point. I don't think they've ceded possession anywhere near their own end of the field this entire half, and we're 10 minutes into it. '55th minute now. LA Galaxy lead the Santos Laguna crash outs 3-0, playing with 9 men. Getting in an offensive language red card when your team's already down a man, that's pretty crazy work. See if Santos can get more red cards than the Galaxy score goals. Right now, they would need 4. Let's get 2 more, boys. Come on. It would be like the 2025 LA Galaxy to give up a goal to a 9-man opponent. If any team can figure out a way to do that, it's this one. I think you should do that, Max. Shooting game drunk? I bet it could lead to some better pictures than you would think. It is going to be a blazing hot coach presser for Santos. It's funny because I watched his after the Seattle game, and I specifically remember thinking, like, this guy seems very zen about this whole thing. He accepted his fate. He credited the Sounders, all that good stuff. Sorry about the Timbies, Jeremy. Unfortunately, Santos Laguna proved to be useless. Couldn't do it. They couldn't get it done. In fact, not only could they not get it done, but they have 2 red cards in the first half. What was the game that the Timbies drew? Could they have won that? Oh, it was the Club America game. Yo, if they had won that shootout, this wouldn't even be an issue right now. Right? Oh, I guess it. No, yeah, because they'd be on 8. They would be on 8. That's crazy. All right. I just toggled back to the game. We got the LA Galaxy once again knocking the ball around right outside the Santos Laguna penalty box. They actually are able to finally clear it out. This is the closest it's been to midfield the entire half, but Joey Paint's right back on the ball, back where the Galaxy have set up shop. Let's see if they can get this fourth. I mean, Santos is basically this game is so stupid right now. Like, they're literally oh, and he's in behind, and is this going to be? Oh man, Gabriel Peck had a chance to lob it up there for an easy goal, but it gets deflected out. That'll be a corner kick. Yeah, 2 reds, Wade. It was sick. They got the first one for a foul, like a second yellow foul. And then the second one they got when one of the players was crashing out at the half at the ref and used offensive language, and he got an offensive language red. So they are playing this with 9 men for the entire second half. Somehow have not conceded a fourth yet. I don't understand how this is still 3-0, but it probably will not be for all that much longer. I cannot imagine. I mean, if Santos keep a clean sheet in this half with 9 men, that would be something. Probably as attributable to the Galaxy not really caring at this point as much as anything. But like, I feel like when you're in a situation where, oh man, Nascimento almost had another that actually wasn't far off. That would have been a nice goal. I feel like when you're in a situation when you're down to 9 men, like the Seattle Sounders were in Vancouver a couple months ago. It ceases to be about like the result, and it becomes about dignity, salvaging whatever semblance of it that you have left. Santos Laguna in this situation have precious little of it. Pretty much none. But if you're able to keep this at 3-0 and look like a semi-competent professional soccer team, which they have yet to do tonight, that's what they're playing for right now. Thanks for the $2, Andrew. Peak Leagues Cup content. I mean, the double red, that's where it really popped off. I don't know what happened to Santos, Wade. They did used to be one of the better Liga MX teams. I feel like Seattle's played them in CCC at least once, no? And I feel like I remember that being like, I remember thinking of them as like, oh, okay, Santos Laguna, got to watch out for them. Now look at them. In Carson, California, down 2 men, getting absolutely pummeled by the worst team in Major League Soccer. You hate to see it. It's a good point, Rhombus. At what point do the okay, here's the subs. Royce is out. Peck is out. Here we go. I mean, that's I think that's the correct play from old Greg Vanny. No reason to expend any more energy for 43-year-old Marco Royce. Save him for the Sounders game this weekend. Thumped 6-1 by Santos. That must have been like back in the early days. Was that recently? I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember like when that was. Yeah, Hunch has it right. When Hurt Gomez was on their team. Early CCC or CCL. A stark fall from grace. Still 25 plus minutes left in this game, unfortunately. We'll see if Santos get mercy ruled like Cruz Azul did. He should do a thing where he gives like an excessive amount of stoppage time for this game. Make them play like 104 minutes down 2 men. Right now, it's kind of looking like the Galaxy are having trouble scoring again, which I think is partially a function of Santos trying to salvage dignity. But it's like LA, at least for the first part of the second half here, they were trying to score. They don't want anything crazy to happen. If Santos was able to get the ball past midfield, which they have not done yet in this half, pick off one goal, right? Absorb pressure, absorb pressure, absorb pressure. All it takes is one counter with 9 guys. Make that 3-2. Play spoiler. Galaxy out. Timby's in. Did they get past midfield once? It's possible. It can't have been more than that, though. Long ball from the Santos goalkeeper. That's how they got past midfield for the first time. Number 7 starting the counter, and they lose the ball again. Falls back for Julian Aude. And now the Galaxy. They did make it. They very briefly, but they did make it past midfield there. That was a big step for them. See if they can build on that over the last 25 minutes here. Joey Paints isolated out wide. He's doing the point at the spot thing. Whips it into Nascimento. Cleared by 9-man Santos. Diego Fagundes on the ball now. There's Cuevas. Cuevas has been anonymous in this half after one of the greatest halves of footy I've ever seen a right back play. He was, in all seriousness, an absolute menace. They stopped feeding him. To me, like, this is very clearly a situation where it's like, just knock the ball around in their end first and foremost. And if we can score for it, go for it. But I mean, you got a 9-man squad out there right now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just don't know. I don't even know what else you do other than park the bus when you have to play with 9 for this long. It's essentially what Seattle did in Vancouver. There's just not a lot of good options. Oh, another good look at a fourth for the Galaxy. Diego Fagundes with the cross looked like that it could be on for somebody, but that one gets cleared out and he's offside anyway. We got a substitution coming for Santos. That's number 4 checking into the game. He's telling his coach, dude, please don't put me out here. This is the last thing that I want to do right now is play in this match, but I guess it's my job. So I'm going to sub in. I'll do my best out here. Yeah, it looks like practice at this point, like a small-sided training drill. That's what the gals are running. T-minus 20 minutes left in the Portland Timbies Leagues Cup 2025 campaign. Miracles still possible at this point. If 9-man Santos can just manage to get past midfield twice and score both times, they could still do it, but time is running out. Hunch has got the Seattle history versus Santos. Let's take a look at this. 2012 2-1 win. 6-1 loss. 1-0 loss. 1-1 tie. That's not a bad they beat him in 2012. That's kind of wild. So that was definitely a different era of MLS. Yeah, we're about to see time wasting to like mercy rule yourself. That's where this is at right now. I think it's at the point where you may as well just get the 3rd red card. You may as well just get the 3rd. I mean, who cares? Commit to the bit. Joey Paints out wide once again. Not really sure why he's still on the field at this point. Maybe they're trying to get the man in form. He already has a goal in the first minute. This game started with them scoring in the first minute. That's the type of night it's been for the boys at Santos Laguna. The fans want a third red. I want a third red. Yeah. I mean, I think what's going on in the second half is it's just like running out the clock. It's running out the clock. In fact, with that in mind, chat, as I hit 3 hours, probably going to sign off before the 90. There's no point. I'll go till 75 here. How about that? I'm tired. I've been on for 3 hours and it's been fun. But like if the game was in the balance, I would stay the full 90. But this is just literally, it's just the Galaxy running small-sided training near the Santos penalty box. I'm going to sign off early, and then Santos is going to score twice, and the Timbies are going to go through. But I'm hanging till 75. Hanging till 75, and then I'm out of here. Let's go, Galaxy. Get me a goal. Give me a goal before I go to bed. I don't think there will be a flurry of goals in the last 10 minutes. You know what? Okay. I'll go to 80 because you guys were generous with the bribes. I was bribed for this. I forgot about that factor. I really probably should just stay the 90 based on that. But I'm losing steam. I don't even know what to do with the broadcasting at this point. It's been the same thing this whole half. They're literally just bopping the ball around at the top of the area, which is all they really need to be doing at this point. They advance with this score line, and their opposition has 9 men. What is up with these late ass games? 8:10 kickoff last night was so whack. Oh, here we go. This might be it. And there it is, folks. There it is. That is the LA Galaxy's 4th goal. I don't who scored that? Sanabria. Don't really know much about that guy. But he finally finds the breakthrough. And that dusts what was already very dusted. Santos guys are going for offside. Maya Yoshida with the ball in the box. Cross makes it through to the number 8. And that is a 4th. 9-man Santos Laguna. The defender just absolutely whiffs. Oh, I don't know what he was trying to kick there. This one started at 8:30. I have no idea why. Even 7:30 is a late kick. That officially does it. Here, before I go, I'll pull up the table one last time and we can take a look at this. Because it is all but finalized at this point. There you have it. Now you'll notice the number 1 spot still occupied here by Seattle. That did not change based on the results tonight. You got him up here at the 9 points, 3 points per game, 3 wins, plus 9 GD with 11 goals scored. I'm not sure if you guys were aware of any of those numbers, but that has remained static through this situation. But what we do have here now is you're going to have the LA Galaxy jumping from 9th to 4th, where they will overtake the Timbies. Man, Timbies went 2-0-1 with a +5 and are getting knocked out by the Galaxy, they're going to move to 2-0-1 with a +7. So that's going to put them where the Timbies are right now. Tough break for Phil Neves and company. You hate to see it. I'm telling you, this format is crazy, man. Like, you really got no margin for error at all. Like, the Timbies, like, they did pretty good, man. 7 points with a +5 GD. If you told me before the tournament that they were going to do that, I'd be like, they probably make it. As Goose points out, Puebla will be Seattle's next opponent. I cannot say that I know a single thing about them, but I'll research them a little bit in the coming days. Let's take a look at who bit the dust here. Columbus Crew, eliminated. Get them out of here. 13th best non-European club as per Opta. Unfortunately, couldn't make it out of Leagues Cup Phase 1. LAFC, gone. Dusted. Get them out of here. Beat Tigres. Wasn't enough. The Loons, one of the best teams in the league this year. Done. 10th place. Get him out of here. Cincy is like Cincy is the team that the national pundits like the most because they have Evander and they're newer than a team like Seattle or like the Galaxy or even like the Crew. So it's kind of, they got the shinier new thing going on. Get him out of there. San Diego, darling team, one of the best teams in the league this year. Shield contender, nice little 15th place. This thing was a beast. This Phase 1. The degree of difficulty on this, getting out of this, it's real high. There you have it. Seattle, Miami, Orlando, and the LA Galaxy going to be the ones left standing. The first three of those make sense to me. This, honestly, if it had stayed like this, I'd have been like, all right, those are 4 teams that make sense. You throw the Galaxy in here, it's like that meme with the fierce dragons, and then there's the one with the goofy face. That's sort of what the Galaxy are in this situation. Yeah, Atlanta United, Emmanuel, $22 million Latte Loth, Miguel, $10+ million Almiron, Arthur, one of the richest oligarchs in the whole country, blank, writing the checks. 14th place in Leagues Cup Phase 1. They actually, Atlanta in their last game against Atlas, shout out Gonzo Pineda, destroyed Atlas. But it's such like a 2025 Atlanta United thing to like be already eliminated and then play like the first good game, like first actually like front to back comprehensive good performance of the year in a game that means absolutely nothing. You already got eliminated. Got to say, I like how points are allocated in this tournament. 1 point for losing a shootout and 2 for winning one. Makes sense and settles deadlocks better than other tiebreakers, in my opinion. I think the format is like they probably still got to tweak it, but it's definitely better than it was. Here, I think it definitely made the games a lot more. It's like as high stakes a tournament format in terms of like margin for error as I've ever seen, which is it's exciting if nothing else, because if you like the way this is, if you take one L, you're done. Like that's it. So that does create some exciting games. I think the issue that they perhaps might have to deal with as the Galaxy send in another low cross that's going to be out for a corner, it creates like there's been a lot of meaningless games where you have two teams whose fates are already decided, which I guess that can happen in tournaments like this, or at least in this tournament. But through ball almost that could have been on for a fifth. Instead, it's out for a goal kick. I don't think you like want a lot of situations where like Atlanta and Atlas were playing. It like just is essentially a friendly at that point. I feel like you want to try and minimize that however you can. But the shootouts, penalties are definitely exciting. It's never like the most satisfying way to decide stuff. But the way I look at that, like people say, like it gets pointed out a lot, especially like by non-soccer fans, like penalties are such like a like non-satisfying or non-real way to decide like who's a champion or who should be moving on and stuff like that. But to me, it's like the outcome of a penalty kick shootout, you're always going to have one team that's going to be benefiting from that more than the other. And it's incumbent on the favored team to not let it get to that point. 2016 MLS Cup for Seattle at Toronto comes to mind. That game was all about getting to penalties. Like it just was. But for the weather, if nothing else, like being the road team, they would have been the underdog anyway, and getting that game to penalties would have been one of the best chances they could give themselves anyway. You throw in the fact that, I mean, I was there. It was negative 10 degrees with a wind chill of like colder than that, which it's disgusting that they play soccer in that. But like if TFC didn't want it to come down to that, where they lost a final without giving up a shot on goal, you have to score at home. That's just it. You can't let it get to that point. So it always is going to serve one team more than the other. And I don't think there's anything like invalid or unsatisfying about that. You can't play extra time forever. So goalies get to shine too. That's a good point. All right, folks. 86-minute I'm going to call it on that. I went long. I said I was going to bail at 75. I went to 85. This is done. This is dusted. LA Galaxy absolutely lambast Santos Laguna really from the first minute of the game. They're showing it right now. Joey Paints on the score sheet. Galaxy never looked back. And the Portland Timbies are done. Dusted. Out of there. We'll see if Seattle has to play the Galaxy later in this tournament. I think this is better for all. This is better for every other team in the tournament. Maybe the Galaxy are Leagues Cup God mode right now, and this is indicative of the quality that they'll show against other teams going forward in the tournament. Sometimes you do see teams that are struggling in league play like find some gear that they hadn't had yet. I seriously doubt that that's what's going on. I think they're playing in a very bad team that got 2 red cards and seemed mentally checked from the jump in this game anyway. So literally any team I think in either league that plays the Galaxy will probably be favored. I mean, just purely based on league form, record, points per game, they're definitely the worst off in that regard, unless one of these Liga MX teams is also literally bottom of their league table, but I don't think that's the case. So we'll see what happens. These two teams play on Sunday, I believe. We'll get a look at what the Sounders look like stacking up against this team. It's probably not going to be first choice on first choice, considering both of them are coming off Leagues Cup games, but it'll at least be a trial run of potentially having to play them in this tournament at Dignity Health Sports Park. Calling it on that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Glad people were enjoying the watch along content. Maybe the watch along content seems to be pretty popular, so maybe we'll try and find more places to do stuff like this. I know the one for the charity match where we were getting drunk and eating pizza was a very popular one. That did some crazy TikToks. So yeah, maybe I'll try and find places to do stuff like this. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If everyone could do me a solid, like the video. I'm bailing, Max. I'm not going the full 90. I'm out of here. I'm about to pass out on stream. So, and I'm also like hungry and stuff. So I'm chalking it right there. Like the video, sub to the channel. Follow me on Blue Sky for updates on like timings on post game shows and stuff, all that good stuff. I'll let you guys know what's up this weekend. Noah's on Orcas Island or something, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to lay down a show like we normally would before this game, but maybe we'll fire up. It's a couple days, so maybe we'll fire something else up. I don't know. Stay tuned for the plans. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm out of here. R.I.P. Timbies. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.